Good morning. We're First Christian Church Sunday School back to meet with you again this week, and hope you got your homework done.
I hope everything's going well with remote learning. I think most of you are doing that, and it's a whole new world, and this a whole new world for us doing this by video too. We love being with you in person, but I guess this is going to have to be the next best thing. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the Beatitudes today.
Maybe we should just, for people that maybe didn't join us the first week, that we'll have our video hopefully ready by Wednesdays that you can watch whenever you want on YouTube, and then on Sunday morning from 9:30 to 10 we'll have a Zoom time together where we can talk about some of the lesson and some of the activities that we've had you to do and questions you've thought about.
So let's start out with me asking a question. What is the tallest thing you have ever climbed?
I'm not sure that I've climbed some tall things, but the first thing I think of is the climbing wall at Crystal, because a lot of the folks that are watching us have been up there and have climbed that climbing wall, and what a challenge that is.
I've tried it, and I'll admit I did not make it to the top. It's been a long time. I don't think I could even get halfway now, but I think the tallest thing I've ever climbed was like a lookout tower. I've never climbed a mountain. I've driven up a mountain.
I know, I climbed a fire tower. So you can look out over the forest, so you can see if there's any, if there are any fires that start. They have them.
Yeah, those are pretty high up. So, and we talked about the highest thing you've ever climbed, because if you were here last week, you'll remember that Jesus climbed a mountain to give this sermon where he told the people about the Beatitudes, and that is some of Jesus' most important healing. We know that he spent a lot of time healing people, and so in addition to the hurts and pains that people had, he also saw that they had broken hearts and unsteady hope. And so after healing so many people, he decided to care for them in another way. So he led the people who had been following him up a mountain.
And mountains had a very special part in the cultural life of the people in Jesus' day. There's several places in the Bible that it refers to going up to the mountain when people are going to meet with God. Most of you probably remember that Moses went up a mountain when God gave him the 10 Commandments, and he brought him back down to the Hebrew people. There was a place in the New Testament too, I think of, that was called the Transfiguration, where Jesus took 3 of his friends up to the mountain to have a special time of relationship with God. So a mountain was a special place and a religious place for these people that Jesus had invited to come with him.
And because he knew that mountains reminded the people of God's presence with them, that's why he chose it as a good place to give an important sermon. And in case you don't know what a sermon is a talk that's meant to teach and help people grow in their relationship with God. And the people were so committed to Jesus that they followed him up the mountain to listen to what he had to say.
I was thinking about some of the ways that you can get up a mountain, and so let's take a stand up for a minute. And first of all, last week we walked up the mountain, kind of sort of hiked up the mountain.
Sure. So we can hike. How else? We can go up a rope.
You can pull yourself
You
have to throw that rope up there with the hook and hook it on something, and then pull yourself hand over foot. Or if you don't have a rope and it's not so steep, sometimes you can do, well, like the climbing wall at Crystal.
Right.
You can do like one hand and then your foot and then your other hand and then your other foot. Are you doing this with us? We think you're doing these different kinds of climbing with us. If you aren't, get up.
Yes, get up and move. Okay, and there are also hiking wheelchairs for people that can't walk, so they could, kind of roll themselves up the mountain.
So let's get
Let's-
ready to go.
Yeah, let's pretend to climb. So we're gonna
Whichever one of those ways you want.
Yeah, so stand up and let's climb the mountain. We're gonna count to 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
I can't go
11,
as fast
12,
as you, Joe.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I don't have the upper body strength for that.
18,
rope
19, 20. We made it.
We made it. Let's sit down and rest. Oh, Pam, I don't know how you go up it with a rope.
So Jesus, once again, wants to get up to the top of the mountain, and I'm not sure that theirs was one that they would have to climb with a rope. In the Holy Land, the mountains aren't that big. But anyway, we want you to sit down, and we're going to talk about one of the best sermons that Jesus ever gave. The name of it is the Sermon on the Mount, and it's found in the Bible in Matthew. And one more about that in just a minute.
And this was the first recorded sermon that Jesus gave that is in the Bible. And in this sermon, Jesus lists 9 ways that people are blessed. And as we talked about last week, blessed means to be happy or satisfied. And most people thought that being happy or content was, a result of their situation, how life was going for them. But as we know, Jesus liked to turn that topsy-turvy, and what we think we know, likes to turn what we think we know upside down and show us a new way.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Just a second.
So she's getting a Bible, and we're going to read Jesus' teaching together out of the Bible. And this is in Matthew, verses 1 through 12. And it includes the Beatitudes. So Pam's going to go ahead and read that. And actually, we're going to take turns reading it.
Okay. The first verse in that section, it was verses 1 through 12. The first verse is not one of the Beatitudes. So it begins with, when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him, and he began to speak and taught them, saying,
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
these will sound kind of alike to you. Pick out what things are alike and what things are different. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted.
Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth.
Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled.
Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God.
Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account.
Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you.
Now the people listening to Jesus, they were astonished.
They were confused.
Some were confused, some were surprised, some were even relieved to
That's
hear what
right.
he had to say. So what they were hearing is that people who were mourning and very sad were actually blessed.
And some of the people that were poor in spirit, that was going to be a good thing for him. We don't think of poor in spirit as being a good thing, but that was
Right.
going to be a good thing because theirs will be the kingdom of heaven.
And what about when he says the meek and gentle people will receive power over the earth? That is not at all like what they thought life would be like. So this is all the opposite of what their culture said. Their culture told them that power and possessions were what made people happy and blessed.
And Jesus turned that upside down and said it's not about things. It's not about what we have. It's about what we do and how we treat other people and how we find love and share with others, so that we all feel like that we are important and special and one with God.
Now, did you notice how each beatitude seems to include two parts? First, Jesus makes a statement, then he gives a promise. For example, Jesus makes the statement, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." Then Jesus gives the promise, "For theirs is the kingdom of heaven."
This is a good time to
Did you notice how each beatitude seems to include two parts? First, Jesus makes a statement, then he gives a promise. For example, Jesus makes the statement, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven."
and that is the first beatitude.
That's the first beatitude.
This is probably a good time, Joe, to explain that you have a coloring page that has questions each week about the story, but also you have a little packet in there, I think it's maybe 3 pages, that has the Beatitudes for you to color. And I think it might be fun if you colored the one that we did this week, like Jill did.
Well, actually, next time we'll discuss this one a little bit more in detail, but go ahead and color that so you can show it to us on Sunday.
Yeah, so that and the coloring sheet you can do for this week.
So just keep in mind that for each of these verses, these Beatitudes, Jesus names a group of people who we wouldn't usually think of as being happy or content, but then he offers them a promise for healing and hope right now, not just in the future. The way Jesus promises these blessings is his way of bringing God's kingdom to us right now.
Here and now.
Yeah. So I think this is a good time for a blessing.
Okay, for our blessing, Doug, put your hands out to receive the blessing now that Jill has gone. And then after I give you the blessing, then you put it into your heart. So you are blessed because you follow the way of Jesus all the way up this mountain. When we follow Jesus, we are blessed with good wisdom. So now when we follow Jesus, you are blessed with good wisdom. And put that blessing in your heart. Okay. We want to give you the activity for the week, and we hope that you'll have a chance to do this activity sometime before we talk together on our Zoom on Sunday. And what it's about is climbing challenges. We've been talking about climbing up that mountain. And the question is, what unexpected blessing might you expect from these challenges? And then it gives us a list of challenges. Okay, so what are the unexpected challenges you think you might have in these situations? You start at 5 a.m. before the sun is up. Yeah, that could be pretty challenging. It'd still be dark, and other reasons. You have, let me read it down here so I can't see those very well. You have been hiking for an hour and your legs get sore. Well, you can't stop. You have to keep going. So what challenge does it, besides just that they hurt, there might be some more things. You don't have any music or TV shows with you, so there's nothing to listen to. That is this one. Nothing to listen to. You might need to listen to nature, or you might need to listen to see if you hear anything in the silence. So that's another challenge. Your friend, right here, your friend does not hike as quickly as you do. So how would that challenge you? You stay with him, or do you get too far ahead, or he gets too far behind? What kinds of things that would it challenge you with? And the last one is, the last one is light rain showers begin. How will that challenge you in your climb up the mountain? Okay. Now, as we close, We want to always close with a prayer, and I'm gonna say the prayer. You bow your head with me. I'm gonna say the prayer, and Mr. Doug is gonna be like you. Repeat it after me. So I say it and you repeat it. God of hope,
God of hope,
we thank you for encouraging our hearts
we thank you for encouraging our hearts
and strengthening our spirits with your promises.
and strengthening our spirits with your promises.
Please help us to live your way
Please help us to live your way
as merciful,
pure in heart,
peacemakers
peacemakers,
who bring your kingdom to earth here and now.
who bring your kingdom to earth here and now.
Show us who needs your hope today
Show us who need your hope today
and lead us to share it.
and lead us to share it.
And all of God's people said,
Amen.
See you next week.